Hi, good afternoon. My name is Chris Plutte, and I'm the Executive Director at Global Nomads Group. We're just going to wait a second until the presentation gets up. So there we go. My name is Chris Plutte, and I'm the Executive Director at Global Nomads Group. Global Nomads Group, our mission is to foster dialogue and understanding amongst the world's youth. We do that by connecting young people around the world for real-time live collaborations. So for example, we work with a school in Afghanistan, with a school in Wisconsin, and we get them together to collaborate. We work with a school in New York, with a school in Congo, and get them to work and learn about each other. In the last 14 years, we've been around since 1998, we've reached about 1 million young people and have worked in 50+ countries and on all 7 continents. So we've been around for a little bit. I wanted to share with you our tools, the tools that we use to make our connections. We use project-based curriculum. The programs here in the US, they're tied to Common Core standards, and the programs or the curriculums that are in the countries that we're working with, they're tied to those national standards. We use a lot of interactive video conferencing, allowing classrooms to interact live with each other. I mean, you're all familiar with it. We just saw a little bit of it in an earlier talk. We use webcasts. Webcasts are programs that any teacher that has an internet connection or a computer is allowed to take our content and bring it into the classroom and ask different questions through a chat site. We spend a lot of time about media literacy, talking about media literacy and learning about media literacy. We want people or young people to be critical consumers of the media that they're receiving. And after they've learned about media, for them to take the tools that they've learned and create their own media. So we do a lot of participatory filmmaking. We use social networks and documentaries as other tools to allow young people to communicate and collaborate around the world. So at G&G, we have something called the 4 C's, and that's our methodology. That's what we believe will make change in our young people that are participating in our programs. So the first thing that we do is we connect. We connect young people using different technologies, as I explained before, and we get them to collaborate. Collaborate could take on many different forms. That could be collaborate on a project, that could be collaboration on a topic, discussion, for them to interact with each other. That's what we're looking for them to do. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we spend a lot of time around media. So we get them to, after they've talked about these global issues, we get them to come together and create media that's their own, that's participatory. And we're hoping that through those steps of connect, collaborate, create, that we'll find change. We'll find change in the young people's attitudes and knowledge on what they're learning. And it won't just hopefully be the young people that are in our programs, but also the teachers that are participating and then the communities that they live in. So, it's a lot of talk, right? So I thought I'd actually show you a short video, if that's all right. And this can kind of give you a bit of a better idea of who we are as an organization.
In a 90-minute teleconference, students from Southeast High in Oklahoma City hooked up with a group of kids from Stuyvesant High School in New York, just blocks from Ground Zero. Global Nomads set up the link.
A group called Global Nomads set up a link between American teenagers and Iraqi teenagers.
What they basically do is they take young people from different parts of the world who wouldn't know each other otherwise, and they believe that through familiarity, you can breed a bond so that hopefully in the future, we don't have the same types of problems we're having right now.
The organization recently sent a team to Rwanda to set up satellite communications so students there can chat with students in the United States.
20 schools across the country talked via video phone to Sudanese refugees and aid workers.
Global Nomads Group recently connected teens who lived through Haiti's earthquake with those who survived Hurricane Katrina. As it turns out, they have a lot more in common than you might think.
Founded in 1998, G&G uses interactive video conferencing to bring young people from around the world together to meet face-to-face, across cultural and international boundaries, to discuss their differences and similarities and the issues of our time.
I don't like riding camels. I don't have a pound in my pocket right now. And you don't look like cowboys who like to fire.
Today we're going to do our best to understand each other and our different beliefs.
I'm an Arab and my family are Arabs and we're not Arabs.
An eye for an eye is not a solution for such things.
I just think that you guys are really strong for going through an entire war.
In this church only there are 10,000 of people who are killed in here.
However, I don't believe that a lot of people in the United States can possibly fathom 800,000 people dying within a matter of days.
As the young generation, thanks.
By shrinking our global village, students realize that no matter what you look like, what language you speak, or where you live, we all want the same thing: happiness, prosperity, and peace.
We could start to preach love and stop hating each other for just stupid things.
I think that it would benefit the world, like if you guys could share your stories with maybe other countries.
But when I got into it, the very first conference just let me know, like, wow. I went home and I bragged to my mom so much, like, Mom, I really see how bad people got it. She always used to tell me, it's people who will kill to be in my shoes. But I never really believed it. I just played it off. But now I see it. It's the truth.
It's nice to be with you guys, and we hope we can see you again and talk to you again. We hope that you see the sunset from our point of view, because, as you saw, it's quite beautiful. And we hope that we will live in cooperation and in peace, because that's all our dreams, actually.
So that's a bit of an example of the work that we've been doing over the last 14 years. We realize as an organization that teachers are our #1 partner. Without the teacher, we won't be able to do anything. But at the same time, we realize that we're asking a lot of our teachers. We're asking them to maybe work on a curriculum that's new to them, maybe use technology they're not familiar with, work cross-culturally in a language that they might not know anything about. We realize we're asking a lot of them, so we need to be with them through this journey. We need to give them the professional development that'll make them successful, and we need to be going side by side and there if they have any questions, which we have found to be really, really successful. So, you know, as I mentioned, we've been doing this for 14 years, and we've done a lot of work, and we're really proud of it. So we're thinking about, you know, what's next? Where do we go as an organization? How do we scale? And we have this picture in our office. I don't know if you guys have seen this before. You know, it's a NASA picture from space at nighttime. And it's very profound for us because when we look at that, we see where the world is lit up. And you can see that's where electricity is, and that's where the young people are participating in our programs are coming from. And it's really exciting, and that's been where we've been focusing our energy. But now as an organization, we're starting to look at the darker areas. How do we get those young people who don't have electricity to be able to be part of this global conversation that we're all talking about? Because right now, they're not. And for us, it's really the mobile, it's the tablet, it's what the professor said earlier this afternoon. That's going to be, and is becoming, the biggest game changer for us as an organization. If you look at what a classroom that participates in our program right now, they're on this side of the screen. You know, they have monitors, they have resources, they have high-tech video conferencing. Where the arrow's pointing is where we're going. We're going with the tablets, we're going with the phones, we're using 3G. You know, they don't need full-time electricity. They don't need an internet connection. They could use the batteries and the wireless internet that's available to them. So for us as an organization, this past school year, we started testing this. We have a program in Afghanistan, in Kabul, where we connect 6 schools in Kabul with 6 schools in the US for a twinning program. And in the top pictures, these are young women who participated in our program, connected to our office in New York, which would then be connected to the school that they're twinning with. And it works. The kids at the bottom, those kids are from Eastern Congo. They're former child combatants, former child soldiers who are participating in our program this past year and our upcoming year. So as you can imagine, living in Goma in Central Africa, you don't really have access to the outside world. But this is really transforming their lives. This is a window that they never had before. So when we think of ourselves kind of moving forward, where are we going? We're going to continue working with the schools that have the resources to bring video conferencing in a very structured way, but we're also going to take these tablets and take them to places where they haven't been before and allow these young people to be part of a global conversation. So that's who we are as an organization. That's where we've been. That's where our vision is. If you're interested in learning more about where we're going this next school year as educators, we're doing exciting stuff. We have Afghanistan on the plate. We have back to Congo, a lot in the Middle East and North Africa. So I invite you to join us, and there's my contact information. I have a couple minutes. I don't know if there are any questions. Yes?
I've been doing a documentary called The Other Side of War, War Seen Through the Eyes of Children. And I can see this being a very interesting, impactful thing for your students.
Sure.
Where they are talking with kids who are in the war zone.
Yeah.
Because we glorify war.
Yeah.
Can you see that? How that would work out? How would you see that?
Yeah, I mean, you saw a piece there where we connected with genocide survivors, these kids who were 9 years old when the genocide happened, who were 17 or 16 years old. They lived through the war. So you had American kids sitting in their classrooms, not, looking at the book, closing the book, going directly with kids who lived through a genocide in our lifetime. Pretty amazing. That's quite amazing, but what's also amazing is for those kids to tell their story. As you can imagine, they're living in an environment where what makes their story any more important than the person next to them who lived through a very similar life, But when you now have a window with somebody who's curious about you, you have a vehicle then to start telling your story, which maybe nobody's heard before. And you have somebody on the other side that's listening to you, that's validating you. That's your peer. And perhaps somebody that that's living in a country that you perhaps strive to live in one day. So it's a very interesting dynamic. The education that happens here happens on many different levels. And I think it goes really both ways. Sure. IRN is a great friend of Global Nomads Group. We know IRN quite well, and if you don't know IRN, you should. They do really great work, and we've partnered with them on several projects, and probably will continue to do so. All right. Well, thank you so much for sticking around, and have a great rest of your evening.